The other thing we've seen, which talks about that convergence I mentioned in our business, is in the evolution of private credit. Yeah, first thing I'd say was the content was very strong across both panels, and a good representation across the market on the buy side and as well as on post-trade.
So this is a huge trade shock relative to anything we've been used to in recent times. And because that came as such of a shock, financial markets had a huge reaction in response to that.
You're seeing Vietnam's growth now at 6.5%, 7%. That's kind of the pace of growth that you wouldn't have seen before in Vietnam if it hadn't had this kind of shift of supply chains towards it. I thought how we blended the geopolitics and the discussion from the macro and macro strategists with the move towards trade settlements. I thought that worked really well, but particularly on things like the balkanization of markets and how that could be impacted by the geopolitical themes we were talking about before. I think one of the big takeaways today was how aligned some of us were on the positivity around Asia and the growth prospects there.
So if you believe in India's structural story, you should always buy with it. It's refreshing to hear my peers' opinions. We cover a lot of topics in emerging markets and our positionings in Asia. And I'm very happy to be here to share Amundi's views and the positions in Asia.
So we tend to look at China then in our allocation perspective more from a bottom-up view at the moment rather than top-down, because we can identify really good companies.
The second part of your question, which is on, is that capital controls and FX controls? I don't think so. I don't think those are impeding the region. In fact, on the contrary, that is done to protect investor interest.
We see digital as a much smaller segment at the moment, but within the sort of next 8 years, we see it being around 23 trillion. For State Street, custody is what we do. We're very much a monoline sort of trust bank in that area. We see it as a huge growth opportunity for us. So it's an absolute excellent event, and I always like the partnership between Asset and Deutsche Bank. But I think what was so good was to get the insight into the emerging market growth story and to put that through the geopolitics that we've seen this year and the kind of journey that the industry has been on. But then the overlay of the technology opportunities and the post-trade panel that followed really shows how both the front and the back end think about those challenges and how they go to meet them. And it just showed within the next 5 to 10 years, the technology journey will go on, both from a digital asset perspective, but also from embracing AI will really transform this industry. And this event will just look so different in these 10 years time. But it's just wonderful to be able to get the kind of knowledge and insight that's available from an event like this.